We are live. Hello, everybody. Hello. Last minute stream here. What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Last minute stream. That's right. Make sure you like and subscribe. Fox Muldar. What is going on in the chat there? Good to see all you guys and girls, you crypto guys and gals. Yeah, no plan today. No plan today. I'm just going to wing it as I always do. No script. You know how I do it. What do you guys want to talk about? This is going to be your stream, AMA. Just going to check in with you guys and let you know a little bit about what's going on in the crypto ecosystem. PulseChain, HEX, all things cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We might be gearing up for a bull market ahead, so get ready for that. Start thinking, start thinking about how it's going to feel. Start thinking about the euphoria. Be wary if it comes. Don't get caught up and just, keep buying the top. But you had 6 months. You had 2 years, really. I mean, you had a full year. You basically had a full year on HEX, and you still have some time, right? Like, its prices are still below sacrifice price, but I don't want to hear any crying or complaining when things go above sacrifice price as well, because eventually they will be. Eventually they will be. I don't know when, but now is the accumulation zone. If you're getting anything in under sacrifice price, I mean, you're getting better deals than I did, and I was one of the guys that was super early, and a lot of people sacrificed. We were all super early and excited. And a lot of us were overly excited. But, it worked out. It worked out even for the sacrificers, because we got in at a price where, if we would have just held that money, held that HEX all the way down, a lot of us sacrificed our HEX. And it's like, well, I still would have rather sacrificed, even though I paid a lot higher price effectively for Pulse than you can pay for today. You can get in way lower today than I did, but I'm still virtually up compared to, what it would have been if I had just held all that HEX all the way down 99% or whatever it was. So 98%. I mean, whatever. It's more like 95. You got to count in the double HEX copy for stakers like me and the yield on top of that. It's offset the losses a little bit. Like, the chart looks like it's down 99, but long-term stakers that were staked during May 13th that got the double coin copy. First of all, even if you didn't stake and you got the double coin copy, you're down 97%. But staking, I mean, it's probably more like 95, 94%. I haven't done the math. I'm wrecked. We're all wrecked. We're just surviving another day, guys, aren't we? Surviving another day. Another day in the bear. Another day to accumulate. Minus 10% on the charts today. So nothing cool to show you guys in terms of prices, but we can talk about statistics. There is one cool thing I want to show you guys. The daily active user growth in PulseChain exploded up to 30,000 in the past week. Now, drop back down to a regular level, regular where it normally sits at around 16,000, still pretty high for daily active users. Now, what I want you guys to know is that Solana doesn't have those users, all right? Objectively speaking, the on-chain metrics of PulseChain, they're daily active users, which is one of the most important metrics. Who's actually using this shit? Or is it just people, VCs that paid out a whole bunch of, YouTube channels to say nice things about Solana and Cardano? Probably. That's a lot of it, right? That's a lot of it. A lot of people, they're taking backdoor deals. This new coin Python Pyth. Everyone's all stoked about Pyth, but I think the chart has been taking a Pyth, if you know what I mean. It's been taking a dumperoonie as well. Not all poo-poo times are pee-pee times, but all pee-pee times are poo-poo times. What's going on, Dix Insider? What's going on, Godfather? What's going on? Unplugged Dad, Pulse 33 member. Hi from Japan. Hello all the way from the other side of the world in an undisclosed location. Crypto Coffee lives in an undisclosed location for his safety. The lowest of stakes. No, that's going to be Hexy Bastard. That's going to be hilarious. I can't wait to watch the lowest of stakes. You guys thought the highest of stakes was good? Just wait until the parody video comes out. I'm probably gonna laugh a lot more at Hexy Bastard's the lowest of stakes. I imagine it's going to be pretty funny. Joe Venito says a late night espresso. That's right. I'm a little wired. I'm a little up right now. I am up. My mind is working. It's active. It's my sleep schedule is a little thrown off. My sleep schedule used to be a little more. I would wake up early, but as of lately, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, man, it's all out of whack. My sleep schedule is totally out of whack. It's I've become a night owl. I'm waking up at like 10 a.m., which is late for me. I've been waking up at 8 a.m., 7 a.m. Now I wake up last week. I don't know why. It's jet lag, really. I traveled a little bit and then jet lag, but not like extreme jet lag, but enough of a time difference where it just throws my body clock off just a little bit. I almost think that I honestly almost think that, you know, a 6 hour or 8 hour flight, you know, time difference, like if I traveled to Europe or whatever, and that's like 6 or 8 hour difference, that's almost better. Like my body somehow can adapt to that because it's like one full sleep cycle. Whereas if I'm just traveling 4 hours time difference, it almost is like, it's kind of worse in a way, you know, I don't know, but that's what's going on, guys. So I'm up late with all you crypto explorers, pioneers of the new world, the new digital country. That's what PulseChain is. We're the digital nation. The new frontier, the final frontier is not anywhere on Earth. It's not even space. It's the digital realm. It's the metaverse. PulseChain, HEX, the currencies of the metaverse in the nation state of Pulselandia. Hexaco. Hexaco is actually awesome. Like Hexaco as a name, it's pretty awesome when you think about it because it sounds like Mexico. Mexico is a country. Hexaco is essentially a digital country. That's what all of these things are. Raul Paul, guys, I posted a clip of him the other day. He made a really great analogy that I've been making this analogy around, like when it comes to the bridge and, you know, bridging assets back and forth from Ethereum to PulseChain to Binance Smart Chain to Polygon. You know, we bridge assets in between networks. And I've been using this metaphor in a lot of my tutorial videos that it's like when you're taking HEX from Ethereum into PulseChain, you're bringing that little HEX guy into a foreign country. That's why he's got the little letter E before the word hex. It's a lowercase letter E because that letter E is like his passport because that hex came from a different land. It came from the land of Ethereum where it was native. So people say PulseChain native and Ethereum native. You could think of that like coins native to their countries. So if a coin was created in a particular blockchain network, it's kind of like it's native to that country. So HEX is what we call hex that's native to Ethereum, but only when it exists in the land of PulseChain. I mean, if it's just sitting on Ethereum, you don't need any different nomenclature, right? If it's sitting over on Ethereum, you don't need any like different way to differentiate. Hex is just hex, just like PulseChain hex. When it's on PulseChain, its native country, we just call it hex. When it moves out to a different country, it's called PHEX. Now, it's not really, I mean, it's not that complicated, but people are just going to call them EHEX and PX anyway. It doesn't really matter. Fox Muldar says GTA 6 trailer looking fire. I haven't seen the GTA 6 trailer. I'm starting to feel like that's real life these days, guys. Not that I'm the one running over hookers and all that stuff, but GTA, man, life is a lot more interesting than video games for me. Life is a lot more interesting. Question, what camera are you using? I'm using the Sony ZV-1. It's pretty affordable. I think it's like a $800. It's not like a cheap camera because I previously had a Canon and the Canon was garbage. I got the Canon because it was supposedly like the best one for live streaming and it was only $300. And I'm like, okay, pretty good deal. And it's supposedly good for live streaming. It was actually awful for live streaming. Like the Canon firmware is dog shit and it does not play nice with any Windows machine that I've ever seen. Like you got to download all this other software and it doesn't even work right. But the Sony ZV-1 is really incredible for a mid-level camera. I think it's about $800. And yeah, you can see all the pores on my lovely face here if you look close enough. If you look real close like. Ryan Torres says Titan X is awesome. I've got my eye on it. I do have my eye on Titan X, guys. I mean, it's like, look, I hate to say it, but that's one of those coins where it's like a lot of the HEX ripoffs and copycats, you know, they've come and go so much that I'm just like allergic, knee-jerk reaction. But the only thing I'll say about Titan X right now is that it's not obviously a bad, like it's not one of those things where I just look at it and I'm able to identify that it's a bad idea right away. You know, there might be something there. Now, I wouldn't bet like the whole stack on it. Like, don't bet the farm on it, but you know, go take a little side bet if you want. That one seems pretty interesting. Maybe, I mean, at least for one cycle, I don't know. But I wouldn't get too caught up in it either because for all I know, it could all go to Goblin Town. Down to Goblin Town. Nordic Marius says, Cryptic Coffee, what's the best strat for the SAC funds? What are you talking about, the SAC funds? Like, what should Richard Hart do with the sacrifice funds? Like, those aren't my funds. Like, you know, I think just sitting there because I think honestly sitting there right now due to the SEC and everything, it's probably the best strategy. You know, you don't want these coins to be moving around a whole lot because, you know, the SEC, I mean, who knows? People could just make up stories about why the coins are moving, you know. It was pretty cool though when when the sacrifice address, when there was that depegging on USDC and the SAC address just bought up, it just arbitraged the difference between DAI and USDC. And it made like a super easy $50 million or something like that. I mean, that was a cool move. If there's anything that comes up like that, if this wouldn't look, here would be the ideal thing with the sacrifice money, right? If Richard's hands weren't tied, like if those funds moved, the duck named Greg or whatever we're calling it. It's a little late, guys. It's a little late, but I would maybe park it in something like some really stable yield, but only in the crypto. Like I wouldn't ever bring it touching the real world traditional finance. But if you were to leave it in crypto, there's some relatively safe yields you can get. But I mean, that's all relative, right? Like how safe is Lido really? I mean, it depends where you like is Lido really safe? You could natively stake Ethereum. Honestly, the safest thing to probably do would be to stake Ethereum. Actually stake it without a third party, node provider. Because if you do that right, it all goes to you. You don't have to worry about the middleman layer in between there of, the contract of Lido and the company of Lido potentially censoring, because that would happen, right? You've seen all the censorship bullshit that's coming into crypto, right? By the way, that tweet that I just made a tweet about Metamask and a potential false flag alert. So they could be flagging specifically staking HEX on the Ethereum side specifically. And guys, this is a very, very niche situation right now. I don't want anybody to be surprised though. So listen very closely to this really quick message. I'm just going to talk about what I tweeted about. What I tweeted about was somebody messaged me, and thank you. You know who you are. Thanks for the DM. But he was like, hey, I don't know why I'm getting this weird security alert for hex.com, go.hex.com staking, right? He was trying to stake on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, this issue is only on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's not even really an issue. You can still do everything fine. You can still stake your HEX. Everything's fine, okay? But if you have this experimental feature enabled, it's called blockAid. blockAid, terrible, garbage, dog shit feature. For whatever reason, it's false flagging. If you try to stake HEX and you have that feature on, you can turn it off. I think it's off by default, but if you have it on, it's going to false flag HEX transactions. When you try to stake, it's going to false flag that as. It's got some terrible, awful, just warning message that's totally not even true. It says, if you approve this request, a third party known for scams will take all your assets, which is just a fucking lie. That's not even true. Right. But then I contacted Metamask support and I'm like, hey, why does this feature tell me, if I have this feature enabled, why does it tell me? And by the way, you can still go ahead and click OK. You can execute the transaction. It's just a warning message that's over the top scary when it's not even it shouldn't even be scary. They're just scaring people for no reason. Right. It's hey, this is going to take all your money. And you're just no, it's not. This is the same contract we've been using for 4 years. HEX has been up for 4 years. It's never taken anyone's money. So it turns out what they're using to actually identify their threat detection is a really, really stupid filtration method. They claim that it was from Etherscan. And because Etherscan has a blocked tag on it, it's blocked by the stablecoin providers, such as USDT or USDC, okay, which doesn't mean anything bad. It's actually a good thing. So a stablecoin provider has likely put a blocked tag on Etherscan on the HEX contract address because a lot of dumbasses out there try sending money to the HEX smart contract address. I don't know why. It's really hard to do that. It's really hard to accidentally send money to the smart contract address. Unless... And that wouldn't even be something a scammer would want to do, because if you send money to a smart contract address with no admin keys, a mutable code like HEX, you can't get it back. And there's a lot of contracts out there that are like this. If I send money to the Aave smart contract address, I'll never get it back. You don't send money to smart contract addresses. Smart contract addresses are just where the code lives, and then you execute functions within that code. All right. So basically, because USDC, some kind of stablecoin provider, essentially wanted to stop people from sending valuable dollars to as basically a black hole. So it's like, all right, well, that makes sense. Like, of course you should. That's probably a good idea. You know, block people from mistakenly sending money to the smart contract address, because staking HEX is running a function within the smart contract. You're not actually sending the money to the smart contract address itself. And anyway, because this filter, because this tag exists on Etherscan, and this tag applies to HEX token, and it applies to many other tokens as well, this blockAid feature is over the top, you know, misidentifying this tag as something that's bad when it's really not an issue at all. So I want to give benefit of the doubt here. I want to assume that blockAid is not an evil, lying sack of shit company, but there's still like another middleman. And so I read this article about Consensus, right? Consensus is the creator of Metamask. Consensus is working with blockAid to increase their security by hiring a middleman, right? And what happens with them? What happens when you have more middlemen and who decides what security alerts go off when? So you're hiring this company blockAid, who's already just mislabeled the HEX smart contract, only on the Ethereum side, by the way. But also imagine how many other smart contracts are like that, because there's a lot of smart contracts that are legit that you know, stablecoin issuers have probably blocked people from sending money to, just because it's a common mistake people make, you know? So of course you're going to block. If you see a bunch of people mistakenly sending money to an address where there's no way of getting that money back, of course you should, you know, maybe block that address. But it doesn't mean the actual website's a scam. So if they did a better job and updated their shit, that message would go away. So I filed a support ticket with Metamask. You all should too, by the way. You all should too. And hey, Wild SJ's in the chat. Crypto real world, we're the captain now. Yarg. Ahoy. Ahoy, mateys. I'm sorry if I'm streaming over you guys, by the way. I didn't realize until I started the stream that I was going right over RG3 and Wild SJ. So, oopsies. Anyway, the long story short is that this isn't really an issue because you can just disable this feature in MetaMask. But the Consensus article says that although it's an optional feature now, but it might not be an optional feature. Like they claim that in Q1 2024 they're gonna enable this feature by default. So I believe the feature will continue to be optional, but if it's enabled by default on everybody, then you're just gonna have to go disable it or just very simply ignore it. And if anybody asks you, you know, we got to get ahead of it, right? Because I know the FUD. I'm trying to squash the FUD before it even comes. All right. I'm out here squashing FUD that you don't even know. I'm out here talking about FUD that you aren't even ready for yet. This is 2024 FUD. And I'm warning you guys, I don't want to see any surprise Pikachus out there. I don't want to see any surprise, oh no, they're coming for us. No, they're not, because you're smart. You're listening to Crypto Coffee. You're ahead of the curve, okay? You're listening. All you got to do, if somebody's scared, okay, is, oh my God, there's a warning message. You just go into the experimental features, you click blockAid, you turn it off. Or you could just ignore the message. Just straight up ignore the message, right? And luckily on PulseChain, there's no warnings at all because it's almost a blessing in disguise, right? Because they probably don't even think anything about PulseChain yet. They probably have no idea that PulseChain is where the action's happening. Where the action's happening, by the way, what's that on the screen, everybody? It's the PulseChain prices at 0.0000555, lucky number. That's a HEX number if you guys know. Down 8% today, a little bit of a sell-off as people are aping into Bitcoin, potentially for a buy the rumor, sell the news. Why do I say buy the rumor, sell the news on Bitcoin? Well, a lot of people, I believe, are short-term aping into Bitcoin because basically the SEC had a meeting with Grayscale, the ETF guys. Or was it BlackRock? I believe it's actually Grayscale. And so they leaked some information that the ETF should be approved anywhere between January 5th and January 10th, which is huge bullish news, you know, medium term for the entire space in general. Like that could kick off a whole 2024 bull market. It might, not a guarantee, but it might. I mean, it easily could. Everyone's very excited about it, but some other short-term, you know, section of the crypto population is going to treat it as a buy the rumor, sell the news event, meaning there's probably going to be a rush out of alts and into Bitcoin in the short term. We're talking about the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then they're probably going to front run, and I would imagine anybody trying to front run that news event would be selling in maybe the week of Christmas, you know, so we might get Bitcoin, it might sell off during Christmas. But luckily, guys, luckily for us, the typical cycle with Bitcoin is that when money flows into Bitcoin and Ethereum and the majors, Bitcoin and Ethereum, the next step is that money trickles down into the altcoins. At least that's the theory. Okay. But a lot of new money, a lot of the same money is in the ecosystem. I don't believe there's a lot of new money coming in, flowing in yet. That's going to be bridged in from the ETF and from marketing campaigns from institutions and all that. But a lot of the same money that's been sidelined is probably moving into Bitcoin, potentially out of altcoins just a little bit. Nothing crazy, right? Like an 8% dip in crypto is just a regular day in crypto. 8% dip, 8% gain. That's nothing to really bat an eye at, But so this money that's already been sidelined is now in Bitcoin. A lot of people seem to be risk on again. Raul Paul agrees. Arthur Hayes agrees. Your friend Sami, I believe, is a little bullish despite what people say. Despite everyone yelling at Sami to stop funding their bags. Nah, he's a good dude. He's just being realistic too. Okay, here's why you should follow Sami is because he'll take a step back and realize how the crowd is thinking. Where not everybody is able to do that. A lot of people are going to get swept up in the euphoria. But anyway, the good news is once people are deployed back into Bitcoin, back into Ethereum, and maybe people sell off on that sell the news event, my optimism, my glass half full, is that a lot of this money may trickle into alternative plays like PulseChain that hasn't really had its pump yet. So that could happen. That's one scenario. That's just one scenario, guys. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Now let's look at the PulseChain charts. I want to show you guys this. Look at the daily active wallets. We're at 15,000 daily active wallets. This is up from, a month ago, 12,000. A month ago, we had 12,000. Now we're sitting at 15,000, and we had a huge spike in the last week. Now, I want to ask the chat something. Let's zoom in on this spike. Does anybody have any idea why we spiked up to 38,000 daily active wallets on December 2nd? I mean, yeah, I know it was HEX's birthday, but, that's not a reason. That's not a legitimate reason, That makes no sense. Why would it spike up just because it's HEX's birthday? Is there some new app out? Is there some new Zen ripoff shit that's going on that's making everybody create new accounts? But anyway, even on the landing, even as we've come back down to 16K daily active wallets, guys, this is a very important metric. Go tell me what the daily active wallets on Solana is. Tell me what the daily active wallets on Avalanche are. Tell me what the daily active wallets on any other blockchain are besides Ethereum. Okay. There's divergence here. There's social divergence. There's divergence in the statistics. When the statistics are high, but the price is still low, the gap has to close at some point. People will realize. It's a matter of time, in my opinion. It's a matter of time. What does the market start around? What triggers? Pulse Gaming, baby. Call of Duty knows about PulseChain. Let's go. All right. All right, Pulse Gaming. Look. If you want to get some gaming onto PulseChain, that's a good sector that, it's got a lot of meme potential. Alex Becker is super into gaming. I haven't seen a lot of people do anything legitimate with gaming. There's been some kind of garbage, some kind of fake gaming. It's almost like the fake AI coins, I saw one gaming coin on PulseChain that really had nothing to do with gaming at all. It was vaporware and they didn't actually have a product or anything. So gaming is an untapped area, a new potential on this new frontier. So if anybody actually is serious about a legitimate gaming business, a legitimate crypto gaming business, and you're not trying to do a hype coin pump and dump, scam bullshit, then, gaming, PulseChain's a perfect opportunity because the platform fees are so cheap. It's the exact same thing as Ethereum, but the fees are like pennies. So you could probably do very well if you do it right. I don't know what the future of gaming is going to be, but it's probably going to be like those dopamine addicts, Clash of Clans type of games, right? I don't know if the real hardcore game, I don't even know what games make the most money. What is it? World of Warcraft probably makes the most money. That's not you don't need to, they've got entire companies built around their in-game ecosystems and their in-game economies. I don't think they're ready to explore blockchain technology quite yet. So it's going to be a lot of that, those teams that make a ton of just dopamine hacking games, the ones that ruin people's lives, unfortunately. So I'm not into gaming. I'm not really invested in gaming. I don't even really like gaming myself personally, and I don't think it's good for people. But it is fun. You know, it is fun. I understand that's how people take the edge off. I used to like playing Halo. I still do play Halo from time to time. It's my favorite game of all time. But there's a lot of like Clash of Clans, like grinding games where you're just pressing buttons over and over. And those are not good for people. There's certain games are better and worse. Like a game with a storyline and an ending, at least it has an ending, right? Steak Hex, thank me later, says, Coffee, remind people that they haven't reviewed The Highest of Stakes on Rotten Tomatoes. Please do. That's right, everybody. The Highest of Stakes, Tap's #1 documentary on Apple TV. So Apple TV, Prime Video, Google, go watch The Highest of Stakes right now. It does cost $15, I believe. You can also rent it for $4. Or you can get a VPN if you're in a different country and get an Amazon gift card and buy it that way. It's pretty good. You guys should go watch it. It's a pretty good movie. Pretty quality flick. A lot of drama, debauchery. $1 billion con man. Or hero of crypto. King of crypto. Look, man. If you guys don't upvote this video, it's not going to get the attention that it deserves. So go upvote this video. Go leave a comment. Go leave a 5-star review. Do all the stuff you got to do. Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes as well. We've already reviewed the shit out of it on Rotten Tomatoes, but you got to do that. You got to do that. It takes like 2 minutes of your time. So, let's see. Halo, Fire, yes. Thoughts on STX? I don't know what that one is. There's a lot of junk out there, guys. A lot of junks out there. Anyway, guys, we got 200 people watching. What do you want to talk about? Talk about the stats. We got 16,000 daily active wallets. We've got 500,000 daily or total wallets. Let's go over the actual stats on the validators. We've got 50,771 validators globally, worldwide, truly decentralized. If you guys don't know, you got to understand that PulseChain is actually decentralized, cannot be shut off. Literally unstoppable code. They can't stop you from buying HEX, PulseChain, PulseX. No SEC can shut it down. There's no off switch on this stuff. It's decentralized, real code. Now look, people are mad. People are like Squidward right now. They're like Squidward because they're like, oh man, Bitcoin's pumping, my coin's not pumping. Just give it time, guys. You really just got to give it time. Like if you compare yourself to everything that's pumping, you're always going to find something to be miserable about because there's always something pumping in crypto. There's always a coin that went up, 300% in the last week and you missed out on it. In crypto, you have to take positions that you believe in, have conviction in those positions, and wait and hold longer than everybody else. Wait and hold longer than all the other weak hands that are going to shake themselves out. And if it's too painful, you can sell your position. You can go chase the pumps. You can go chase Bitcoin. You can go chase Ethereum. Like, you don't have to play the games I'm playing, right? I believe in HEX and PulseChain in the long term. I believe they're going to pump, but we're just at the very beginnings of what could be a bull market. Like, the bull market's not even... By most people's standards, it's not even back yet. You know what I mean? And things don't all just pump in sync with each other. Like, yes, the money does flow into altcoins and stuff. Like, it starts out in Bitcoin, Ethereum, flows into alts, and there is somewhat of that cycle. But, there's always going to be something for you to look at and make yourself sad that you, quote-unquote, missed out, right? So, I mean, these things they haven't really even made people life-changing money yet, right? What is Solana's up like 3x? Like, cool. Good for those guys. Good for the VCs, They're able to capitalize and dump on all the poor people that they convinced to buy it. But it's up to you guys. You guys buy whatever you want. Look at these 50,000 validators worldwide. Bridge statistics, 81 million bridged in, 3 million bridged out in the form of PLS, HEX, and PulseX. We've got PulseX statistics. We've got 37 million trades, $7 billion of total volume. Daily volume, $23 million. Cumulative volume, $7 billion, almost $8 billion. And $109 million of total liquidity. I guess you could call this TVL, right? TVL. Now, it's interesting. I would be interested to see how that stacks up on, DeFi Llama. DeFiLlama.com. DeFi Llama. I doubt they're ranking PulseChain, but, you could see TVL, and you could see where would that put us. Let's rank these bad boys by TVL. So, I mean, look, PulseX as a decentralized exchange on its own, right? This is not counting all the money in, liquid loans and 9-inch and PHUX. That probably adds another, 50 million or so. But that would put us at around, right now it's like, up in the top 50. Easily in the top 50 projects, right? PulseX alone looks like it'd be right at number 50. Right at number 50 in terms of, and then for like a 6-month-old project too. Oh, sorry, not number 50, number 72. Oh, look, PulseX is there. It is number 73. There you go. Look, PulseX itself is number 73 on DeFi Llama. So they are ranking it. That's good. And this is only the DEX, right? So if you count all the PulseChain apps, it'd be good to start seeing some more apps climb their way up into the top 100. But you got to also realize a lot of these are Ethereum apps, and they've been around for a long time. Like Lido is number 1. Like, good luck getting anywhere close to Lido. That's got $20 billion of TVL. That takes a long time. You got to realize Ethereum's been out for 9 years. 9 years. Like Curve Finance has $2 billion in it. PulseX, little old PulseX, only 7 months old. It's already in the top 100. Number 73, climbing up on the decentralized exchange list on DeFi Llama. Congratulations to PulseX. What do we want to talk about? Take a Valium and have a little sleep. We'll all be fine, everyone. That's right, guys. We'll all be fine. We'll all be fine. Buy and hold. Look, my fundamental, you can call it investment thesis if you want to sound fancy, right? The reasons I believe in PulseChain have not changed. People want to value a cheaper, faster Ethereum clone. It's easier to code on. The community is thriving. Hundreds and hundreds of people publicly on Twitter, YouTube. I can't even imagine all the people that, don't talk. Imagine all those mentally stable people that aren't on Twitter, that are just holding PulseChain because they're actually like real sophisticated investors, right? Like a lot of people are like that. And we don't really, like, I often wonder how much of society is invested that just has no social media presence at all. And even better for them if they don't go on social media and like FUD themselves out or get emotional about whatever drama of the day. But yeah, look, the product is unstoppable. It's fully decentralized. The SEC can't shut it off. It's way underpriced in my opinion due to the daily active users, the number of it's the third most decentralized in terms of actual validators, individual validators after Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's hard to do, and that's proof of community. That's proof of real people involvement. On Solana, for example, you've got like 1,900 validators, and they're all owned by Kraken, Coinbase, like centralized companies. There's nothing about Solana that has any sense of like community that I really get in the PulseChain HEX ecosystem, right? Like a lot of these other blockchains too. It's like, okay, maybe they got a Telegram group, and they got a fancy website, but who's actually in these things? It's like, you don't have diehard fanatics and tons of builders, right? You've also got hundreds, probably 300 projects that are legitimate on PulseChain right now, and probably 1,000 scam meme coins. But you've probably got like 300 legitimate projects. I tend to only focus, like I've only got 24 hours in the day. You know what I mean? I've only 24 hours in the day. So I focus on maybe like 10, 15 projects that catch my eye that I think are very valuable. I like liquid loans a lot. That's going to mint people a bunch of stable coins, which is going to add additional buy pressure into the ecosystem, right? What do people do when they mint these stable coins? They go and they buy more coins that they like. So it's almost like leveraging up your whole ecosystem. Now you got to be very, very careful with this too, because when price dips, be very, very aware of your liquidation price on liquid loans. If the price dips 50% and you didn't realize that it's possible to be liquidated, you could lose all your pulse. You'll keep your stable coins, but you'll lose all your pulse and you will not be happy. But these coins add value because they can leverage up and amplify the effects on the way up, potentially also amplify on the way down if people aren't careful. Now, what you could do is on the way down, you could start paying off and redeeming your USDL back for Pulse and making your liquidity ratio larger, safer, right? You could do that. Or you could, what a lot of people, here's one interesting strategy with liquid loans, right? Like when the market's pretty top heavy, the minimum collateral requirement is 110%. So if you don't care about losing all your pulse and you want to take out a giant loan as a way to just cash out, potentially tax-free, you could potentially cash out if you feel like, okay, maybe we're at the top of the market now. Let's say I want to take out, 200,000 USDL. Let's say I've got $200,000 of pulse, right? And I want to take out $200,000 dollars of USDL. And I want to use that as like my sell method. So essentially I've got all this stable coin now, and I don't even care what happens to my pulse because in my mind, I just wanted to dump the pulse and take my profit. You could let that pulse get liquidated and basically take a 10% loss at a very, very risky low. No, this is incredibly dangerous. You know, people listening right now, if you don't understand what I'm saying, don't do this. Okay. But that's what you could do, right? Like you could just let it get liquidated on a 10% down move. And who knows, maybe it doesn't. Like maybe we're at the top of the market and we go up another, like maybe we do another 2x, right? You think we're at the top, but we do another 2x. And you're like, oh, even better. Now I can mint more stable coins. I don't know, guys. Like that is, damn, I'm almost like talking myself into doing. that might be potentially an exit strategy of mine. Not with my whole bag, guys. Not with my whole bag. Ever, ever, ever. Like I'm not putting any more than maybe 3% of my total pulse. I might up it to 5%. I don't know. I just don't want. Like, people don't realize. Everyone's like, oh, it's just in all these models. I don't think a lot of people pay enough attention to when the price dips a lot. And they're under collateralized. So on the Liquidity protocol on Ethereum, we've seen surprisingly low levels of people wrecking themselves. But that's because the protocol is a lot smaller. It's also on Ethereum. And like no offense to people out there, but like there's a lot more, I guess like some sophisticated, smart type of dudes in Ethereum. And they're not good at marketing, right? Because they're not telling people about it. Like they have an absurdly small, like I think their Telegram channel is only 7,000 people. Liquid Loans already has more people in it probably than the whole Liquidity protocol after having been out for so long. But that also means that you could potentially bring in like irrational, emotional investors, people that don't understand the platform they're using. So just please, guys, like I know you guys for the most part watching this channel are pretty smart, but if you're brand new to crypto and you don't understand what these protocols are doing, like don't ape into them without understanding that you can be liquidated, and always know your liquidation price if you're going to make a loan with yourself on Liquid Loans. And, you know, Liquidity has been fine for a long time, but that's been like the same, you know, cohort of dudes using it. Like, I don't think they're really focused on marketing that protocol too much. We're focused on marketing. Like, we're focused on spreading the word over here. So, don't just come in thinking it's all going to be a smooth ride up and to the right. You know, HEX dipped 8 times, over 40%, 8 times in the bull market. And each one of those times, guys, I remember each one of those times, there was so much FUD on Twitter. People were saying HEX is dead again. People proclaimed HEX dead on the way up, you know, almost as much as they proclaimed it dead on the way down. Now, of course, there's always going to be naysayers. If you really don't believe them, just ignore them. If you think they're wrong, just ignore them. But there's always going to be naysayers on the way up and on the way down. But, you know, if you're not in this because you believe, because you have conviction, then you're not in the right place. You have to sell yourself on the idea before anybody else can sell you on it. If you're looking for people on YouTube to tell you what to buy because they somehow know more than you, no, you have the ability to educate yourself just like everybody else. Like all I do is I relay information back and forth. Like I tell people what I know. I learn from other people, and I'm just a node of information, I guess. So, you know, just that's a lot of, unfortunately too, I think that's the problem with a lot of the money in HEX, right? A lot of people unfortunately might have bought just because they had a charismatic leader like Richard and they didn't understand. They didn't buy it because they thought the protocol actually had value. Now, luckily there's a whole bunch of stakers of last resort, right? Like foundational level stakers, 124,000 stakers actually. Let's pull up the chart on that one. There's a whole cohort of people that believe in HEX, right? But there's a lot of people that were bandwagon speculators that hopped on because they saw people getting rich, or they didn't understand. They saw people staking and delaying gratification. They were like, oh, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get me some of that. And they didn't realize that, oh, I actually have to hold this stuff for longer than 2 years. Yep, you sure do. You sure do. All right, let's see. We got, 120,000. I think it's higher. 126,000 stakers on the PulseChain blockchain, 120K on Ethereum. So it does seem that people are favoring PulseChain for staking. That makes sense, especially with the staking fees. But, you know, we could see Ethereum fees come down one day, guys. You know, for the real long-term stakers, the 7-8 year stakers like myself, I believe by that time, in 7 years from now, I believe Ethereum will have sharding. I believe the whole landscape is going to look a lot different. DeFi is going to be commonplace. in 7 years. Try to imagine what 2030 looks like. You know, everyone's going to be using DeFi. All the kids growing up, they're not going to know anything else. Everyone in high school today is going to be an adult, and crypto is going to be their bank account. You know, HEX might be their primary savings vehicle. Maybe some people's parents out there are setting up HEX stakes for their children. And their children, when they come out and let's say they graduate college or something, and they've got 100,000 HEX in a 15-year stake that was made 15 years ago, or let's say 10 years ago, right? Let's say like this is 2030, for example. They're like, oh, this 100,000 HEX stake is worth $200,000. You know, let's say HEX is $2, right? Like they'd be super happy about that. And they'd look into HEX and they'd look into how the system works and they would just get it like the back of their hand. I mean, all this technology is second nature to younger people. And this is where the world is heading, right? Every asset's going to be tokenized. All the centralized assets are going to be tokenized. Blockchain tech is going to keep getting better. You know, things don't just stay still, right? PulseChain is going to keep getting better. Ethereum is going to keep getting better. The cool thing about PulseChain is that it can adopt and inherit any good improvement that Ethereum has. So if Ethereum does sharding one day, you know, maybe it doesn't totally fix gas. Maybe it brings gas from like $100 a swap down to $1 a swap. Well, then PulseChain can just take that. It could take that EIP and fork it onto PulseChain, and you know, maybe gas becomes a problem on PulseChain one day, where PulseChain fees are like $10 a swap. Now that doesn't sound high, but it would be high compared to where the price would have gone. If PulseChain fees become $10 a swap, that means we did 100x in price. So that's a good problem to have. But you know, then you'd also be looking to say, okay, well, $10 a swap isn't the end of the world, but we do need to start to figure this out, you know. And also, I know Richard's team can also just modify some variables and things, change some stuff around. They've got some tricks up their sleeve, I believe. Bro, win pump, dude. You gotta just wait, man. Like, you gotta just wait. We're not even in 2024 yet. You're gonna see things pumping out of sync with each other sometimes. So. Again, if you don't want to wait, we've waited this long. ADA will get sued next by, says Batty Roy. Look, in a way, they've all came into question, right? The SEC has attacked Cardano, Solana. SEC alleged securities are, let's Google that, shall we? They've basically alleged that like almost all of these cryptos, like everything in the top 10, top 20 that Coinbase lists are all the popular ones, but somehow no one, like, people aren't fudding themselves out. Well, maybe, I'm sure people are. Like, you go to every single coin, people are going to find a reason to FUD themselves out. So I assure you guys, if you go into the Cardano community, that's going to be no different than PulseChain. You're going to have whatever pitifully small community they have over there. There's going to be some believers, and then there's going to be some people that are like, what about the SEC? Oh my God, what do I do? What should I sell my coins? And there's going to be those guys in every community probably, right? So look, the SEC has alleged that BNB, Solana, Cardano, Tron, Polygon, Internet Computer, Near Protocol, Filecoin. I think that was like, wasn't that Sam Altman's favorite? No, man, some other big name likes Filecoin a lot. Maybe it's Raoul Paul. And all these coins are so popular and mainstream. And yet the SEC has accused them all of being securities. And you know what? A lot of these coins too, they've got foundations. They've got buildings full of people. They have employees. They have CEOs. PulseChain has none of that. So you guys should be more worried, if anything, about these actually getting attacked because they're more centralized and they can be censored. These are much easier to actually take down. You can go to, you know, Polygon, there's like 5 dudes. It's literally a meme. Like 5 dudes in India run Polygon because it's actually true. Like the core team. How many validators are in Polygon? I think it's like 21. Polygon validators. And so the SEC is just going after, I think, whoever they can to try to, one, I think they're just trying to make a statement. And 2, I just think they're trying to get money so that people can get promotions, so that, you know, people can climb up the corporate ladder and look like they're doing something. And 3, there's also probably orders from the top down of like Operation Choke Point 2.0, you know, like people are whispering behind closed doors, right? 100 validators on Polygon. It's not very decentralized, is it? And of those 100 validators, how many are run by like the same 5 dudes? Look at the block validators. Like there is mostly just one. Yeah. So it feels like if these were to be attacked, right, everyone's picking on PulseChain. Like, oh, that's the scam. But like, look, the SEC has already claimed Polygon, Solana, BNB are securities. They've gone after, they're currently going after Kraken, Coinbase. It's like when you cry wolf that many times, it really takes the power out, doesn't it? Like, oh, everything's a security? Okay. All right, can we just pay our fines then? Like, can we just be done with this bullshit? Like, you can't stop people from buying these on decentralized exchanges anyway. As long as we have an on-ramp into even Ethereum. But by the way, there's on-ramps coming into PulseChain. GainPulseChain.com, huge on-ramp coming into PulseChain. We need more on-ramps, crypto on-ramps. Right? But as long as you can buy Ethereum, you can buy PulseChain. And you can buy all these other coins, right? You can bridge into all these other networks. Use the Solana bridge, Cardano bridge. I'm not recommending people do that, but you know, if you want to buy Cardano, they kind of can't stop you. But at a technical foundational level, can they shut Cardano off? I don't know. I don't know enough about the Cardano technology. But I do know that Polygon is literally a building full of people. Like there's a Polygon company. Let me Google that for you guys. A lot of these coins have, yeah, Polygon technology. I don't know what the underlying foundation is called. The founders of Polygon. It's like these dudes. Jainty, Sandy, Mihailo. Yeah, look, guys. I mean, these are all just, I mean, you can go after all these guys. You go after all these guys and say, hey, give us all the keys, give us all the validators. We want to shut you guys down. Now, are they going to go that far? Probably not. Vast majority of the time, the SEC seems to just settle. But, you know, all the mainstream influencers are shilling Solana, Polygon, BNB. These are all accused to be securities too. You know, so it's like, oh, but when PulseChain's accused of being a security, oh, that's where we draw the line. It's a scam now. It's a scam now, everybody. Polygon is World Economic Forum. Ah, good point. So they might not shut it down. There you go, Spider. But that's just the hypocrisy of it. I just want to call that out, right? The SEC thinks everything in their, you know, hide your kids, hide your wife, because they're suing everybody out here. All right? The SEC thinks that, you know, your Pokemon cards are a security. They think your Pikachu is a security. They think your cheeseburger from Wendy's is a security. Because you had expectation of flavor from the work of others. The SEC is throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. That's in a good way. That's kind of true. Or in a way, that's kind of true. That's a good point, Humberto. They're seeing what they can get away with. And in a way, it's almost like, look, in the grand scheme of things, I know it's kind of infuriating to think about right now because you just want to say, oh, fuck the SEC. They're so corrupt and incompetent and blah, blah, blah. And yes, they are. But, you know, we do have to kind of play nice. Like, we can't just go around saying that. Like, that didn't do Library any favors, LBRY. Like, the dude from Library literally wore a shirt saying F the SEC. Not necessarily a good idea, you know. Let's let these battles be fought in the courts. I think Richard Hart's going to fight, and I think he's going to win, by the way. I just think that the court proceedings are going to take like 2 years. Unless Gensler gets fired or some other holy Hail Mary awesome thing happens. But, you know, I think he's got so much ammo in his legal arsenal. And I'm sure he's got the best lawyers. He's got a ton of money. A lot of great arguments. I think he's got a better chance than most at defending himself and even winning the case and, you know, getting this done with once and for all. But, you know, it's like he probably had to see this coming. You know, like, I mean, a lot of people say Richard Hart baited the SEC to actually come after him. And I can see that, right? Like, he's making all that noise. He's a really smart guy, right? He's a really smart guy. Do you think that he was just buying Lambos and Gucci just because he was stealing customers' money, misappropriating funds, and just wanted to go out and brag? No. His outrage marketing is exactly what he was always saying that what he was doing. He's like, I am outrage marketing. What's the second part of that phrase? Marketing, right? He's marketing. He's showing off. He's trying to raise people's eyeballs, get people in. And I would not find it hard to believe that he was kind of baiting the SEC. Like, look, let's get this over with. Come get me, guys. Do your worst. If you're going to get me now, just let's get this over with because it's coming sooner or later, right? because it's coming. They're coming for everybody, right? They're coming for everybody sooner or later. So in my mind, if he is playing 5D chess, right, I wouldn't be surprised if he anticipated the SEC coming maybe a year or two ahead. He did even mention something about it. One really old live stream, he mentioned like when the first year of HEX, that somebody from some blockchain company that he talked shit about, like reported him to the SEC. And at the time we all were just like, oh, okay, well, we'll worry about that later, I guess. And here we are worrying about it now. So it's almost like I do feel like he anticipated it happening. And I do feel like he's extremely confident in the fact that HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX are not securities, and they're not even unincorporated alter ego entities either. So if anything, the only legitimate, I mean, it's not even a legitimate accusation, but suing Richard Hart personally is the only thing that they can actually probably do. Like, well, we'll see how the court, you know, I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer here. All right. I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer, but it's just the hypocrisy of they're suing everybody. But, oh, you're going to make up you're going to fudge yourself out because of PulseChain, right? Like, I bet you've got some Solana guys or some Polygon guys, you know, over in whatever fake community they have. Like, it's probably some stupid, like, Telegram chat that they think is like, oh, we got this awesome community. Probably like 1,000 guys in the Telegram chat just circle jerking with each other. But, yeah, I bet you there's some guys in that Telegram chat that are like fudding their own bags. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, what about the SEC? And like, you're going to get that everywhere, right? People are just afraid. It's like, you can be afraid if you want to, but if it's going to keep you up at night, right? Like, if that's what's going to make you sell, then sell, right? Like if it's the SEC, because there's always going to be new FUD too. Like after the SEC, there's going to be something new, and there's going to be something new. And what you pay attention on, you will find what you're looking for. If you're looking for a reason to be scared, you will find somebody spinning a narrative of here's why you should be scared. Here's why you should not invest. But if you want to take the risk to get the reward, that's what we're all doing here. We're taking an asymmetric risk, right? We all think it's a lot less risky than people perceive it to be. But some people are still going to perceive it to be risky, right? Like in Bitcoin in the early days, you were crazy if you bought Bitcoin. Imagine putting all your life savings into Bitcoin at like $100. People would call you an idiot. Or even Ethereum, right? So, let me see here. Let me actually go to my my YouTube. Let me go to my YouTube thing because I can't read the comments too well on here. An idiot. Let's see. Some of you guys have such dumb narratives. Like, so stupid. Like, some people are probably listening to some really... Look, if you don't want to deal with the FUD, then just sell now, guys. Sell now. Please get out, because you're just going to be crying about something else later. Curious. DEXs exist in GTA 6. CEXs, I bet. We're talking about GTA again? All right. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto. I don't know, man. I'm sure maybe they're going to have some in-game currency. I'm sure they already do, don't they? Hit the like. Hey, D'Artagnan. Good to see you. D'Artagnan 8. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow me on Twitter for the latest DeFi news. Hex Tovan says, if we lose the case, like, what are you talking about? We're not in the case. We're not in the case. It's Richard in the case. And like, there's settlements. If Richard loses, he pays a fee. Like, you guys don't even understand. Like, what the hell? What's my alternative? I keep trying until, like, I keep marketing HEX and PulseChain until more people learn about it. Like, what do you think? If we lose, first of all, it doesn't make any sense. If Richard loses, does PulseChain get shut off? No. And loses, like, define loss, right? Like, you can, there's so many different ways you could quote unquote lose. Most likely is to pay a fine, and then you just go about your day. Look at all the other coins that paid a fine. Man, all you negative dudes, I'm just going to hide you. Coffee, were you able to get a refund on the car that burned up? No. I'm not even going to press charges. I'm not even going to go dig into that anymore. Like, I don't care, man. That guy probably scammed me. He claimed the car was working fine, but no, I got me a new car, so I'm good, man. I'm good. Mostly liquid people, only ones complaining. Yeah, look, the people that need the money right now are the people that are going to FUD themselves the hardest, right? Like, that's the unfortunate paradox, too, of wealth in general, is that when you live in a scarcity mentality and it's hard to make ends meet, you'll be more desperate, but you'll be more emotional as well. So you're more likely to buy in because of emotion, because people are talking about 100Xs in crypto and stuff like that, 1,000Xs maybe. But then you're also likely to shake yourself out at the first sign of danger. So this is not going to be the only FUD, right? So here's the thing. It's like the paradox is that to be wealthy, you have to feel wealthy. You have to behave wealthy. And wealthier people generally have a lower time preference. And what a lower time preference means is that you don't need the money right now. You're willing to place your bets, and you're willing to hold them for 5-10 years to see if they play out. Some people haven't even held for 2 months. And they're like, well, the SEC is going to get us. So it's like, all right, dude, like you're not cut out for this game. You really do need, and it's really like, if you can get over that hump, I think a lot of people will be in a lot better shape. That hump of just feeling like they're already there, and then just behaving as if the end goal already exists and trying to just be the change you want to see. I know it's kind of cliche to quote Gandhi and stuff, but you got to talk reality into existence, and you got to be the change you want to see. All right. Worst SEC outcome is RH isn't required to appear. I mean, they got to serve him, guys. Let's stop speculating about what could possibly happen. Ivor Biggin says, hey, Coffee, when do I get to go view my wallet ranking for PulseX? I see the sacrifice leaderboard, but I'd like to see where I'm at in the rankings. I don't actually know how to do that, Ivor Biggin. Sorry, I wish I had an answer for you there. I wish there was a way. But yeah, guys, you got to be contrarian, man. Look, if this was easy, if there was no FUD and everybody was getting in, there'd be no opportunity either, would there? Be no opportunity. So, just look, where I see crypto going is I just don't see it going away. I see it going more and more, permeating through culture. Everybody's going to get some crypto at some point. It's literally going to be like a normal thing that we use every single day. And so worrying about what's going to happen, made up stories about what could happen with, I don't know, legal situations that nobody knows anything about, or listening to other people make up their own imaginary legal situation, it's not going to help you. If you have your investment thesis, your bull case, you think these coins are going to pump, you stick to your word, you wait a couple years, chances are things are going to be higher than they are today. And hey, if you want to go play the stock market, get 5% returns, that's cool too, right? In crypto, you can get multiple ROI. You know, Bitcoin, maybe a 3x, maybe if you're super lucky. Ethereum, maybe a 5x, maybe a 6x from here, right? But all the altcoins, shoot, people have made more on even dumber altcoins, right? Believe in yourself says, I just had a Stephen He comedy short flashback, the emotional damage quote. I wish I saw that one. I don't think I saw that one. I can't understand why people don't appreciate how kick-ass it is HEX and Pulse going through 100% IPFS decentralized. I beg every DeFi on Telegram to burn the keys, and then they don't care. Never mind this level. Yeah, exactly. 4D Traveler. IPFS is awesome. Being on IPFS is awesome. You know what Richard just tweeted today? The Bitcoin.org website has been censored in the UK. They're stopping people from downloading the Bitcoin software in the UK. Now, of course, anyone can use a VPN to get around this, but the fact that they have the audacity to do that in the UK, to geoblock Bitcoin.org, that's insane, right? It's open source software. In the UK, it's very Orwellian of them. They're basically telling everybody, hey, in the UK, you can't run Bitcoin on your own. And IPFS solves all this, right? Perfect example of what could happen, what just happened, literally just happened in Bitcoin. So if we're still complaining, That's another thing too. It's like, oh, now we're complaining about IPFS. This week we're complaining about the SEC. This week we're complaining about IPFS. Like, man, I really just can't be bothered with a lot of this stuff, guys. A lot of us would probably be better off just coming back in 2 years and seeing what happened. If it all went to zero, hey, at least you took a risk and you tried. But I find that very, very unlikely because no coins don't go to zero, first of all. They don't go to zero. The chances of the coins being higher in a couple of years than they are today, pretty high. Pretty high upside, pretty limited downside. A lot of people would be better off just not engaging in anything on social media at all. I mean, because it's just a downward spiral. Misery loves company. You know what I mean? So I don't know. If we're still talking about IPFS, it's an awesome, awesome improvement. GoRealDeFi.com, by the way. That also links you to all the IPFS websites. Censorship resistant. Okay, that's the point of crypto. So GoRealDeFi.com, it's censorship resistant. And all these websites can't be shut off. There is no central server hosting these websites. Like the SEC couldn't even if they knew how to do this, which you guys got to give your, I think some people give these three-letter agencies more credit than, well, especially the SEC, right? More credit than they're due. Like, I don't even think they really understand anything about PulseChain, HEX, PulseX. And I don't even think they understand anything about like technology in general. And like even the fact that websites are hosted on servers and stuff. But theoretically, if an agency really wanted to stop something from happening, they can go talk to whatever website was hosting the service and take down the website, but not with IPFS. And like we've seen with the Hydra, right? It's almost a blessing in disguise. Here's one of the unintended positive outcomes. So before we all went to IPFS, all the PulseChain software was on all different websites. Bridge.pulsechain.com, go.hex.com. You had app.pulsex.com. You had scan.pulsechain.com. It's like 3 different websites and 5 different subdomains for all the different stuff you had to go to and bookmark. And then RH Maximalist comes along with GoRealDeFi.com. And so in a decentralized way, and we've got PulseChain Foundation, so we've got a decentralized group of centralized websites that hosts on the decentralized internet. You know what I mean? You've got HOA, you've got Tangang coming up with their own stuff. You got Degen Protocol, I noticed. Shout out to Degen Protocol. They've got their own links as well. Like everybody can just make their own links. So basically all they did was they gave the people, or Richard basically gave the people a way to, an excuse to make new centralized websites. And now as an unintended side effect of decentralizing all the websites, you have a single source of truth that you can go to on GoRealDeFi.com. It makes onboarding even easier. Like onboarding is even easier than it's easier today than it was last month because of GoRealDeFi.com. Because we have a single website that's, again, IPFS. Links to all IPFS websites. It's amazing. And look, if ever that got shut down for whatever, like it's RH Maximalist, guys. But this guy has the courage to do something about it, right? That's what I mean by builders. And the community that we have is like nobody else. Because he's actually out here building, right? Like, oh, something bad happened that I don't like. Or something happened where that it might make it more friction for new users. Okay, I'll build the solution. He whipped up a new website in 2 days, and now we have a better situation than when we started. Like, what's better, going to GoRealDeFi.com or going to app.pulsex.com, scan.pulsechain.com, bridge.pulsechain.com, go to, like, all these different websites are now on one page. And you cannot stop it. You try to stop one, someone else will just make a new website in another couple of days, right? PulseChain Foundation, the guys over in Atlanta, Blockchain Center Foundation. I forgot what his name was. Marlon. Shout out to Marlon out there. Marlon, hit me up in my DMs, dude. I'm interested in whatever you're doing with the PulseChain Foundation. So definitely interested in that. Put dark mode on. Yeah, maybe I should put dark mode on. Oh, maybe that's why all the SEC talk is because I have this page pulled up, huh? Oopsie. If I wanted to stop talking about SEC stuff, I suppose I should have changed the screen. That was my bad. All right, prices down a little bit. Typical day. Polygon still centralized. Much more than PulseChain. Oh, what's going on in the chat, everybody? HEX daily payout per T-share, 6.67, slowly climbing up. Actually, that's pretty interesting. You know, a year ago, it was about 6. So now it's raised up 10%. The payout per T-share has gotten 10% higher in the last, I think, couple of months, maybe in the last year. HEX T-shares keep getting more expensive, everybody. People are going to care about it in the bull market, even if they don't care about it now. So you can get them when they're cheap, or you can get them when they're more expensive. HEX finished 4 years of flawless operation. That's right, 4 years of flawless operation. Coffee, are you in the DGen protocol? Goat feeder, lol, cool product. I like DGen protocol. Like, if you look, it's funny in a way. Like, it's not something anyone should go put a whole ton of money into, but they forked Elephant Money, right? And Elephant Money was one of those interesting projects where the chart just keeps going up and to the right, because it's basically like, it's like a big Ponzi that everyone just admits, like, yes, this is like a Ponzi. Like, we're just going to keep putting money into it. Look, you can look it up if you want. It's fun. You could put maybe, I don't know, if you want to put like $50 in there, see what happens. Like, who am I to stop you? But it's a fork of Elephant Money. And like, yeah, Crypto Black Sheep working on it, which I just think is like hilarious, because it's like, of course, like, it's so fitting. It's so fitting that DGen protocol would make a fork of Elephant Money. So, have fun, guys. Have fun. No shade on that one. Hey, Coffee, caught ya. How y'all doing? Spank the like and share to pump your sacks. Ooh, sounds naughty, Crypto Protractor. Crypto Practor. My bad. Hard to read your name. 2 pennies tonight. Lettuce hands. What does that mean? HEX is at 2 pennies? Oh, no, it's not. I wish it was. Crypto Coffee, is it better to buy HEX on PulseChain or Polygon? PulseChain, sir. PulseChain. That's an easy question. Yeah, I think you can buy HEX on Polygon. Some people used to use it for cheaper trading fees, because, but you're basically, when you're buying HEX on Polygon, you're buying bridged EHEX. There's some liquidity pools on Polygon, but what you're actually buying is bridged EHEX, and I don't even think there's any services really that on-ramp HEX. Like, back in the last bull market, we were using Polygon because swapping was costing like $200 a swap. Seriously, like gas fee, and it's going to get like that again real quick in this cycle. There's going to be a lot more of that. We've already seen it for a couple of days, but yeah, people were using Polygon to swap HEX back in the day. I don't think anyone's doing that anymore. It would just be EHEX anyway. Imagine every coffee lover buying HEX. That'd be a lot of people. Crypto Coffee, why aren't you looking at Bitcoin ETFs? Okay. I'm looking at Bitcoin ETFs. I'm looking at the news. I'm not looking at buying them. People ready to take profits. Will people... Look, I don't want to be involved in the traditional financial system. Like, that's not appealing to me. I'm not buying a Bitcoin ETF. Like, I'm not buying Bitcoin itself. Why would I buy paper Bitcoin? That's even less attractive. Or are you just talking about like the macro in general? I have no idea what you're saying. Crypto Protractor, lol. Lol, Polygon, yep. Great video on Go DeFi. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks. Well, guys, thanks for coming here. Thanks for enjoying the night with Crypto Coffee. Make sure you like, subscribe, smash the bell button. Crypto Coffee, do I know anything about BKKT? No, I don't. I wish I did. Maybe I don't wish I did. I'm happy without knowing about that. Is that backed? Like backed the Bitcoin company? My math is terrible. What do you guys have for X's from here to sack rate? What do you mean? That has nothing to do with like math. It's just guessing based off of other things that happened in the past. You don't need to be good at math to come up with a guess for a number of X's. Like, J-Pon says, thanks, Coffee. Rick Nelson says, I just bought 1 million PHEX. Nice. That's a lot. What is that, like 8 grand? It's like 8,000. Well, was that like $9,000? Oh, my friend just bought 1 million PHEX. Sergio says, the only coffee I drink is crypto coffee. Thank you very much. Why does PortalX Swap say trading is not available when I try to swap ETH for Pulse? Well, yeah, PortalX Swap has been a little messed up lately. Like, they only let you buy 0.2 Ethereum and below. So it'll work if you buy 0.2 ETH or less, but it doesn't work for large orders. I don't currently use PortalX Swap, but hopefully they'll fix it one day. They're probably doing that to protect people because they're linking you through Change Now anyway. So if you go to Change Now, they have kind of liquidity problems where if you try to buy higher than 0.2 Ethereum, you're going to get a significantly worse deal the more Pulse you try to buy. But I think you could still get away with buying like one or two Ethereum's worth at a time, maybe. You're definitely going to want to check. Compare with the rate you're getting on Change Now. Compare that to the market rate. Definitely make sure you're not getting a bad deal on that. But yeah, Change Now. Just go to the website itself for now. I mean, there's really no point in using PortalX Swap right now. I'm sure it's going to be awesome one day. I'm sure it's going to be great once everything, we'll get more crypto on ramps, more crypto off ramps, more tools, more protocols. But right now, PortalX Swap really it's just integrating Change Now, and you're probably going to be able to swap more on Change Now anyway. But again, beware of the rate that you're getting. Also, try using StealthX, stealthx.io. That's stealthex.io. I found you get better rates than Change Now. So you get more bang for your buck on stealthx.io than you do on Change Now. If you want to buy PLS directly with Ethereum, that is, without any bridging, no bridging necessary. Takes out a whole step. All right, dudettes, it is a little late here. I'm still kind of wide awake, but I'm going to go launch a TikTok real quick. I'm going to go do a quick TikTok, and I will see you guys on the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe. Hey, if you want to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon. We've got a group chat. We can just all talk, hang out, talk about buy signals, sell signals, more importantly. It's a good place to collaborate about when the next top is going to be and when to take some profit, too. So I'm interested in talking with you guys about that. If you want to support the channel and join Patreon, and we could talk about it there, because top signals are going to be, recognizing that we're in euphoria is going to be a very tricky thing. So let's make sure that we all get something out of this bull market when it comes. And if you're brand new to crypto, hexpassiveincome.com, hexpassiveincome.com. If you're brand new to crypto, that course is for you. Don't miss the boat. Hex is still low. PulseChain is still very, very low. I'm still buying at these prices because everybody else is hating on it. Everyone's tired of it. Everyone's fed up. To me, that's still a good buy. To me, that's still contrarian. Oh, nobody wants to touch this coin? Okay. Seems like a pretty good time to buy. Personally, just me. And I'm still buying PulseX. I'm still buying HEX. I'm still buying PLS. Tiny amounts. I did a pretty big size amount of PLS when it was in the sixes. I think I bought it like 6.5, 6.6, 6.5. So I'm down a little on that, but who cares, right? I potentially can see many, many X's on the table. But recognizing that we're in the euphoria, regardless of how many X's that it is, what's more important about calling for a price target, I think, is recognizing the signals for the tops and saying, okay, and having multiple price targets too. Like, okay, if we're looking really toppy and we hit, 20X, let's take some off the table. If we're looking extremely toppy and we only hit 10X, yikes, all right. Maybe let's take some off the table. You know what I mean? But it's a good place to collaborate. Patreon. Patreon.com/CryptoCoffee369. All right, dudes. Coffee. Rick says, I bought some stealth and got stealth wrapped PLS. You're talking about stealthx.io? What will be the new man purse? Fanny pack? Fanny packs are cool, though. The first Tesla truck flex. Okay. I'm buying the Cybertruck. I don't care if you think it's lame. I'm buying it. I think it's cool. Will Richard forcing us to run the bridge locally? No one's forcing you to do anything, but Hold on. Your comment just went away. Some of you guys aren't making sense. All right, guys. Well, whoever's modding, thanks, I guess. I'm going to end this stream. Wish all you guys the maddest of gains. I'm still buying. I'm still bullish. At these prices, of course I am. And I will see you on the next video. Like, subscribe.